Once upon a time in the heart of the Savanna lived a family of cheetahs. Now, this was an ordinary family except for one extraordinary thing. You see, all the cheetahs in this family were incredibly slow. That's funny, right? But it wasn't funny for them. You see, they wanted to be speedy cheetahs like all the other cheetahs in the savannah. There was the Speedy Cheetah Club. All the young cheetahs would gather after sunset and boast about their incredible hunting skills. They would talk about how quickly they could chase down prey and how soon they could get back home before the hyenas did. Our family of cheetahs wanted to join the club so badly, but they just couldn't. It didn't matter how hard they tried. They were just born to be slow. Little Theo Cheetah was especially disappointed. He dreamed of being a great hunter and catching the fastest prey in the savannah, but his paws just weren't built for running at top speed, and the other cheetahs made fun of him. "Hey, slow poke," they would tease him. "You'll never catch up with us." These words hurt Theo deeply. He felt like giving up. Why try when he was just going to fail? Why try when he would never be fast enough for the Speedy Cheetah Club? One day, Theo met an old wise turtle named Shelly. Shelly had lived in the savannah for over 100 years and had seen all kinds of animals come and go. She was very kind and always had a smile on her face. When she saw how sad Theo was, she asked him what was wrong. Theo poured out his heart to her, telling her about his dream of being a speedy cheetah and how he just wasn't cut out for it. When he finished his story, Shelly smiled and said, "My dear Theo, there is nothing wrong with you. It's just that you are different." Theo looked at her in confusion. "Different," he repeated. "I don't want to be different. I want to be like the other cheetahs." Shelly shook her head. "You are not slow, my dear Theo. You are simply not built for speed. You see, God created all living things in his own image, but he made each of us unique and special in our own way. We can't all run as fast as cheetahs, just like we can't all fly as fast as eagles or swim as fast as dolphins. We are all different, and that's what makes us so wonderful." Theo thought about what Shelly had told him. Was she right? Was there something good about being slow? Just then, a group of young cheetahs ran past them, heading towards the river. "Look at them," Theo said sadly. "They're going to the river to drink. I wish I could go with them." Shelly smiled. "Why don't you go on ahead, my dear Theo? I'm sure they will be happy to see you." Theo hesitated. "But I'm slow," he said. "They won't want me to join them." Shelly placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Don't worry, Theo," she said. "Just be yourself, and I promise you, they will be glad you came." Taking a deep breath, Theo started walking towards the river. As he approached the watering hole, he could hear the young cheetahs laughing and playing. He could also hear some splashing and the sound of a small animal squealing. Theo peeked behind a bush and saw a baby warthog stuck in the mud. The cheetahs were trying to help him, but they were too slow. The more they struggled, the deeper in the mud the poor little guy got. Theo knew he had to do something. He carefully made his way to the edge of the watering hole and called out to the cheetahs. "Excuse me," he said, "but I think I can help." The cheetahs stopped their game and turned to look at Theo. "What can you do?" one of them asked sarcastically. "I'm slow," Theo replied. "I can't outrun you or anything like that." The cheetahs laughed at his answer, but they were starting to get impatient. They had been trying to help the warthog for a while now, and they needed another strategy. "Well, maybe your slowness will be just what we need," one of the cheetahs said. "Why don't you go on ahead and try to pull him out, Theo?" Theo nodded and slowly started to wade into the water. It was cold and slimy, and he had no idea if he would be able to help the little piglet. But he had to try. Theo wrapped his paws around the warthog and started pulling. At first, it was difficult, but as the water rose around them, Theo felt himself getting stronger. Finally, with a Herculean effort, he pulled the warthog out of the mud. The little piglet was shaking and scared, but Theo didn't care. He had helped someone in need, and that was all that mattered. The other cheetahs were staring at him in amazement. I can't believe it," one of them stammered. "You actually did it, Theo." "How?" Theo shrugged. "I don't know," he said. "I just felt like helping." The cheetahs were silent. They couldn't believe that Theo, the slowest cheetah they knew, had managed to save the day. Finally, one of them broke the silence. Theo, I'm sorry about what we said to you before. I didn't mean it. We didn't mean it," he said. Theo smiled. "It's all right," he said. "I understand. You're just looking out for yourself, just like I did. And besides," he added with a wink, "being slow doesn't mean you're weak." The cheetahs nodded, understanding dawning on their faces. They had been so caught up in their need for speed that they had forgotten about the most important qualities of all: kindness and compassion. From that day on, things were different for Theo. The other cheetahs didn't tease him anymore. In fact, they looked up to him because they had learned something very important from him. They had learned that being slow wasn't bad. Sometimes being slow even helped. Most importantly, they had learned that being slow didn't mean you couldn't be brave and kind. As for Theo, he continued to live his life at his own pace. He might not have been the fastest cheetah in the savannah, but he was definitely one of the bravest. And that made all the difference. Now, whenever Theo felt like giving up, he remembered Shelly's words. "You are not slow, my dear Theo. You are simply not built for speed. God created all living things in his own image, but he made each of us unique and special in our own way." And that is the end of the story. Do you have any stories of when you were too hard on someone else because they weren't like you? Share your story in the comments below. And remember, even if you're slow, that doesn't mean you can't be great at something. You just have to find your thing. And also remember to be patient with others. Not everyone does everything the same speed.